name is Andre Hill Sr. and my co-host Andre Hill Jr. We coming live from BA Studios in the Tampa, Florida area. I do my usual post on Facebook the night before and Friday night. So I posted, good afternoon, Facebook friends.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hang on here. Hang on here. All right, so let's start over. Sorry, fam. Sorry about the technical difficulties trying to synchronize the broadcasting equipment along with the live. All right, we're going to start from the top. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so as stated before, this is the Straight Talk Morning Show with Andre Hill Sr. and my co-host Andre Hill Jr. So on Facebook, I posted, I had two pictures. One of my son when he was up in Nashville and it was very cold, and then one with me on the left showing some skin with my shades on Thanksgiving Eve. And of course, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving because I'm not giving thanks to our land being ripped off. But I was out on the beach chilling, and it was a beautiful day. So just moving on with the discussion, on our Straight Talk. This is our new hour at 11 a.m. And black people are starting to wake up, in different pockets. And I happened to catch a video with Monique, the comedian Monique, and ripped off. But I was out on the beach chilling, and go ahead, I got you. All right, and with her husband, so we are having a little technical adjustment here. So I caught this video with her husband, with Monique and her husband Sidney Hicks, and their subject matter was aliens or God. Which one do you believe in? And here's the deal. All of the and of course, we talk about aliens all the time, and we give references to how aliens are basically referenced all throughout the Bible. And, the scientific minds would break that down as to say, this is an advanced civilization with technology. Some religious minds are still holding on to the mystical God or the mystical encounters as encounters with angels. And, and if you apply scientific thought to that, you would eventually figure out that these beings that appear to be mystical, their technology can make, with various protective suits or devices or illuminating, it's just advanced technology. And at some point in our development as a species, we will acquire this technology. And when we go to help out primitive planets like ours, they will look at us as angels, or they will look at us as extraterrestrials. The choice is ours as to whether we want to project ourselves as gods, or as the Christ was identified in the so-called Bible, and saying, you too can perform these miracles and even greater works. And so, that's the choice that you make when you are attempting to civilize a very primitive planet. So that's one of the topics, and I know that was a mouthful.
Yeah,
all right,
that's one of the topics.
Yeah, and also, one of the things that Monique had a beef going on with Oprah, Tyler, and Steve Harvey, Tyler Perry. And the issue was, why she did not want to promote a movie when her contract of promoting that movie had expired with the first promoter. And so another promoter that picked the movie up wanted her to continue promoting the movie without renewing her contract to promote it. So the big issue we're going to talk about that. We're going to go into some particular details.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and we need new leadership in the black community because, from my perspective, most of the black leaders have been compromised. And on the show before, we talked about how they've been compromised, And, in some cases, they may have children or family members that are incarcerated. And so it's very difficult to you to speak against white supremacy when your child or friend or family is being held in the beast of white supremacy. So we, outlining these particular items and cultivating, nurturing new leadership, it is important that if you have these sort of circumstances, you can't go out on the front. You can, and you'll be compromised. But it'd be very difficult for you to be an effective leader going out and to confront white supremacy when you have these sort of issues where you might have some children, even children in the military. It's a problem. If you have government jobs, it's a problem. So finding good leadership is very rare, few and far between, but it has to be done. There are some people out here that can fit the bill. And then what we want to do is talk about how to develop those leadership skills and also how we can assist you with becoming a leader or, just starting out in your community. And eventually that can evolve from even being a community leader to being an international leader. We intend to help and assist you all the way to that level. So that's what this show is about. And I got my notes all over the place. So we're going to go back and talk about the comedian Monique and her husband. But before we do that, we got to deal with this white supremacy situation, and the fact that it is a program, and that it is a fact that the program is very devastating. So right now I'm reading a book called the ISIS Papers.
Oh, you cracked that book open, huh?
Yeah. I've been reading. I've heard about it for quite some time. And as a matter of fact, when I saw the picture of the author, I said, I met that woman, because I lived in D.C. and she was writing this book or developing this book.
Oh, you met Dr. Wilson?
I can't. I'm trying to shake my memory, as to when. But her face looked very familiar. I was all over D.C. during the same time she was developing this book. I was hanging out with people within the Marion Barry administration, and I knew most of the heavy hitters, not all of them, but a majority of them. And so this book, The ISIS Paper, is by Dr. Francis Cress Wessling. And one particular section in the book, it talks about Robert Motherwell. He was a Capricorn Tiger. And he was an artist that was commissioned to provide artwork for the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. Okay. And so this is another validation. Look him up. He's a Caucasian guy. And this is a statement that he made, basically against the background of possible nuclear holocaust. We must even reconcile ourselves to the fact that Western man, in choosing centuries ago to exploit nature rather than to marry her, has doomed himself with an industrial technology, which is AI, for which there is neither the wisdom nor the political mechanism to control. All right? And, basically what he's saying, white supremacy is a cancer. And when different groups, primarily Caucasians, bought into this game, they are aware that it is out of sync with nature. And this is why we're having all the problems that we're having. And, it is basically a cancer. So how do you cure cancer? You either change your environment, your eating practices, all of these issues that create the free radical of cancer that invades your body and attacks your organs. So you have to do something to eradicate it from the body by creating stronger antibodies in your body to force it out, and then you flush it out with water. And so, but this is an admission, by this artist, basically, and I'll read it again, against the background of possible nuclear holocaust. So the nuclear, excuse me, weaponry is basically a device to protect white supremacy.
Right.
Yeah. It's a threat to say, if you all, come after us, we're going to drop, a nuclear bomb to destroy you. And,
Right.
and it was basically for the survival of white supremacy, throughout the world.
Gotcha.
All right. So it's very important, and I'm talking, and I'm gonna. The reason I read that statement because when we deal with this issue about the comedian Monique and her husband Sidney Hicks, they have gone through quite a bit, and one of the things that I want to encourage our people to understand, we're trying to get movie parts, be in these different movies, be accepted by our culture that's basically pimping our people. And most of those movies about what? Murder, death, teaching people how to rob, how to steal, lie, cheat, and all those sort of things. And so that narrative is having a negative effect on our children. So why are we still continuing to go to movie theaters or patronizing movies with that sort of theme of death, destruction? We have enough millionaires and now a few billionaires that can start the development of creating movie theaters in our own community, and start to produce movies that are going to help restore initially black people and people of color and even Caucasian people that understand exactly what this guy Robert Motherwell was talking about, that you have chose a mechanism or a system that's against nature. And so if you buy into that program against nature, it is eventually going to destroy all humans. And we have our own black leaders. We have our own educated people that have bought into this program, and you're going to die or be destroyed along with the narrative.
Indeed.
Yeah. All right. So
I'm here with you. So let me tell you what just happened. While you were talking about that, a bunch of glitches went on with the cameras. I had to fix them, but right while you were smack dab in the middle of that, your camera in particular started to glitch, like on some Matrix type stuff.
We expect that now.
Yeah. At this point. So
Absolutely,
it's all good. So we back online again, family. Bear with us through our our technical endeavors on this show. Again, we got a brand new system, and we working it the best we can. So, but we're gonna keep it as clean and professional as we possibly can. But all right, yeah, go ahead, boss.
Okay, so let's talk about you saw the video with Monique in it.
Yeah. I watched the greater portion of it. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that Hollywood or Hollyweird is saying to Monique, you need to ditch your husband, because he is an aggressive, assertive black man, and he wants to share knowledge and information with black people, with all humans really, but primarily black people, because we're being targeted for gentrification and extermination. Mm-hmm. And so, he's trying to get black folks to wake up. Just like some Caucasian folks, they understand that there are extraterrestrials that give them technological advance over all the other cultures. And they really don't want black folks to know about the extraterrestrials that gives us the technology to be in harmony with nature. Mm-hmm. All right. So this brother is doing the same thing that we've been doing on our show, even back to the book that we wrote, The Second Coming, years ago, almost 20 years ago now.
It's been over 20 years.
Yeah, and it's being suppressed because white supremacy don't want that knowledge to get out. They don't want black folks to understand that the extraterrestrials or these advanced civilizations that help develop us here on this planet are more powerful than their extraterrestrials or on a higher level of consciousness where they don't have to do these horrible things to us in exchanging technology that's detrimental to the health and the nature of planet Earth. You know, they want us to regain control of the planet, not through hate and destruction, but through love and balance. They want the black people to do this because, unfortunately, our Caucasian brothers and sisters, their ancestors bought this program that Robert Motherwell was talking about, in terms of this AI technology that will eventually destroy us as a species. So getting back to what this brother, and we're going to be doing it on this show, that, people that have had encounters, unusual extraterrestrial encounters, what our church or our religious systems will say to people, oh, you had an experience with a demon, or maybe you need to pray more or something of that order. And basically, instead of saying that you've had an experience with an extraterrestrial, they might have been there to help you get over a disease without you knowing it. And part of the technology that they have is a paralyzing being that paralyzes you the same way you are anesthetized when you go into an operating room. So black folks, we need to look at this thing differently. A lot of black folks have seen UFOs, strange lights, or have had visitations by, and so on this particular show with Monique and her husband, Sidney, a young black woman called in and explained about the experience that she had, where she saw these beings, and so unfortunately, the program is that if it's taboo in the black community.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if you don't talk about that, people will think you're crazy. That's the way white supremacy set it up. They did that in a subliminal way in all the movies. Anytime you talk about ETs, you give a weird sound, oh, you crazy, or that sort of thing. But what the bottom line is that white supremacy don't want black folks, people of color, to understand that their ancestors are more technologically advanced because they have a high level of spiritual consciousness and understanding the laws of nature and how we can stay in balance with nature to live, how we treat each other, and how not to offend the very planet where we sleep, eat, drink, and love.
Indeed. So let me jump in this conversation because I've been a little quiet over here trying to make sure that that this technology that we're using right now, maintains while we're doing this live show. Now, speaking of black people, on any sort of what we can deem today as extracurricular thought or occultish thought or anything that is outside of what is the norm in our culture and our community, which a lot of black people are doing nowadays. You see a different scale of enlightenment within our community nowadays. You see a lot of black people reaching out and finding various sources of information that are completely contrary or just a little bit deeper than what we call the religious norm in our community. So what we're seeing is a lot of our people, separate and or they may still hold true to their religion, but they want to get into some deeper meanings beyond the metaphors and the analogies within their religious text. Saying all of that to say this, because I just saw one of my friends in real life. She's also my friend on Facebook as well. She just made a post. She said, "Why are we gaining all of this information about our ancestors, but we not?" Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but she said, "Why are we not doing anything about it? What are we doing with this information other than just harboring and gathering information, right? So, and what a lot of us are feeling is, once we gather the information, it's like, that level of knowledge comes with the expectation and the obligation of, like you say, getting in harmony with your planet. It's like, because it seems to, the narrative is if you acquire the information which is synonymous with ascension, then what's ironic about it is you eventually have to match that frequency on a mundane level as well. Meaning, if you are living that life spiritually, then you have to live that life tangibly as well, right? So it's that we can't just say it's enough to say, okay, we've gathered the information, and the information is going to just simply having the information is going to get our minds, souls, and bodies right. No, it's like we have to actively seek harmony with the planet. So what that means, what that really looks like, seeking harmony with the planet, what that really looks like on an everyday scale is learning how to cultivate the planet, learning, if we're going to siphon things from the planet, how to give an equal amount or more back to the planet. And here's where the technology comes in. If we're talking about, gaining contact with any more advanced being, I mean, we got to show and prove that we can handle ourselves on this planet with some of the basic technology first, right? We got to show and prove that we have an interest in it in the first place. Because as it is right now, black folks, we're in a condition to where we are completely dependent. Well, I'm not gonna say completely, but let's say 95.999999% dependent on every outside source for practically everything that we consume, right? When it comes to our food, when it comes to our house, and when it comes to all of our basic resources, we own none of that. We own and control none of that. So when it comes to advanced technology, any higher being, is looking at us like, well, you're gonna have to crawl before you start walking. You know what I mean? Just even on your day-to-day level, it doesn't seem as if you are seeking for gaining that knowledge on how to sustain your basic resources. So, as we looking at the video with Monique and her husband, and we want to speak to the black community about, hey, why is it taboo that we address and discuss things that are informations that are outside of the norm? Why is that taboo? And then once we reach a point to where we say, okay, it's not taboo anymore, we talk about that extensively. But the next level, or what has to be synonymous with that, is, simply put, I think I'm gonna have to grow my own food out this bad boy. Right? I'm gonna have to consider, at least investing in my own transportation. In other words, how could we come together and put together a car manufacturing plant, or start creating the manufacturing vehicles that are in harmony with the planet? That's the kind of industry that we're gonna have to get in, right?
So,
how you feel about that?
Well, no, all of those steps are necessary. Mm-hmm. But here's the first step. I'm gonna give my old school perspective. All right. So, what we're doing right now, first of all, I don't want this to sound like a commercial, and we said over and over again. But go to our website, upall.com, and register with us. Sign up, leave your email information. Here's what we're doing. We are working on a local level of building community leaders on a local level. And then that will extend to a state level. And we are now connected with a national organization. And that national organization, we're going to all be meeting with groups from Chicago, from DC, all over the United States. and we're going to put together a narrative of things that we need as a collective. Our biggest problem as black people, the Willie Lynch letter did a number on us, is that we have these egos. We want to be the savior, the one single savior, and that will not work. It has to be a collective effort. So we're going to team up here on the local level with different people in in the community, then on the state level, and then on the national level. If you are not in the Tampa Bay area, if you're not in Florida, still sign up with us, because we're going to share those resources that's going on in your state. Technically, we're going to have to separate from the white supremacy machinery. If we continue to feed it, it will continue doing what it does. And that's why I explained in that show, white supremacy is a catalyst. It will not change. We have to change. We have to change our mode of operandi. So I want to answer that young lady's question. So what we need to do right now is unselfishly join arms together. Not thinking, get over what white supremacy has taught you. Oh, you're 6'5", you can get a basketball contract, so you're better than the rest. Or you have a photographic memory, you got a PhD, you're better. All of these are components of white supremacy to divide and separate and conquer you. You got to get over it, and you got to join a collective. Now, when I heard this brother Sidney, Monique's husband, talking about what he knew, he knows the same thing that my son knows. All of the black extraterrestrials that are sitting and waiting for us to just say, we're gonna come together as one, as one mind, one heart, one soul. And the primary formula is, number one, treat people the way you want to be treated. You've heard it over and over again, but you need to bring that in perspective. By treating people the way you want to be treated, you got to respect them as equals. So get the mindset out that, I'm better, I'm prettier, or I have more money, all of that, all of those are instruments of white supremacy. And just as I just stated, as this guy, Robert Motherwell, the Europeans, Caucasians, bought into that program of divide and conquer, and they continue to operate that mechanism. White supremacy is really not about a in particular group, because we have black people, there are Asian people, there are Indian people that are practicing white supremacy. So what we have to do is separate from that mindset and create our own collective of transparency, equality. All right. So if you're listening, go to our page, upaall.com, or give us a call at 813-324-0915. No matter where you are really on the planet, but right now, right here in this country, we will help you in your community. We will share all of the technology, the social technology that we've organized to help you organize your community, because right now, we don't have much time. This narrative of this artificial intelligence is coming to an end, where now it says we got to destroy the true inheritance of the benefactors of this planet. That's the black people. So in order for this program to continue, they have to destroy us. And what they're doing right now is they have focused on Hispanics, and they are setting them up to be the new host, because over and over again we talked about white supremacy is a parasitic program. So what they're doing now is gassing up the Hispanics. You're going to take the place of the black people, and they're going to do the same thing to the Hispanics that they started 400 or several hundred years ago on how to enslave black people. They're going to pass it on to the Hispanics. They're going to go into their community, corrupt their women, turn them to independent contractors, and create the same economic class system. And then they're going to get them to buy the Hispanics to buy into the extermination of black people. And that started back in Spain, because Spain was ruled for 400 years by black men from northern Africa.
700 years.
700 years. All right. So so Spain had a darker skin complexion for a very long time in the European theater, and so they was looked down on, and so they felt that in order for them to be balanced with the rest of the Europeans, they had to convert to a light skin program, and they started ostracizing any dark skin Spanish people out of the equation. So Spain has demonstrated racism on a higher level than even the Klan or the Nazis. So you have to understand how they're being manipulated right now to take the place of black people, and how they intend it. It's written in this program of white supremacy. They must exterminate you. They're trying to set you up right now with race wars. With the COVID virus, they're doing any and everything they can because that's the way the program is written. Don't take it personally. It's a program. And there's certain people, Caucasians and black and Asian people, that are operating this program out of their selfishness. All right. I hope I answered that young lady's question.
Oh, yeah. Indeed. I agree with you. Mostly. But I got to speak from my generation's perspective. So what you see in my generation, and we've talked about this, I've talked about this on prior shows, that, my generation, it's not many of us that's holding, the stitches together of, racism and white supremacy. We're not the ones holding that together. It is typically, older generations. And I want to, I want to say the very last stronghold is probably people of various, demographics. In other words, racial demographics from your generation on, up into the 60s. Right.
I think absolutely. I see it. I see people in my generation still trying to hold on to white supremacy principles through the education program. Yeah. They're being manipulated. They're being told, hey, if you just separate, we'll give you power. We'll acknowledge you within your community and make you a big time leader. But meanwhile, they're setting you up for failure. Mm-hmm.
What we've seen in this century, we've been able to see we've been able to actually live through a not just paradigm shift, but an actual transition of ages almost. Like, in other words, how the night turns to day, just that 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock a.m. hour, to where you can see the sun rise above the horizon. It's like we've actually seen that in this actual century. I'm telling you, 70s, 80s, and especially 90s babies and beyond, we just simply were not naturally born with the with the cosmological downloads to uphold that regime, that racist and white supremacist regime. We don't have it. The only reason if we operating in it is because we've just been born into, a system that still, practices it and still holds it up. It's just by habit that we practice it. But so many people from my generation, they just sick and tired of it. They like, it's like, I'm sick and tired of practicing it, on all levels. I'm sick of going to work. I'm sick of going to the grocery store. Like I'm just just sick and tired of being on the hamster wheel of basically time cycles. We at the point where we sick of hearing the term Monday through Friday at this point. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything about it is like we're just simply looking for something else. I can see it in them. Like, trust me, I can see it in them. So what we want to hear is, okay, so as we are simultaneously chipping away at the foundation of white supremacy, we know we can, especially us who any of us who are, let's say, 30 years and older, we obviously can see this. Like, all right, so once this house comes down, we're gonna need another roof quickly. As a matter of fact, we looking at it like we've gotten to the point to where we're looking at it like we can't even tear this whole thing down immediately because we don't know how to build the other house right next to it that we're going to live in right away. We don't know what that house is going to look like. We ain't got the blueprints for that right now. So I can't tear this roof down and let the elements, just rain down on me without simultaneously building another house. So what my generation is looking to our elders for is like, hey, y'all have very intricate knowledge of how that system works, right? And we have not been taught how to construct a new system. Now, we are simply learning this as we go. Yeah. We learning this as we go, right? You talking about millennials. I'm telling you, 30 plus year old people learning as we go on how to construct an entirely new national system, an entirely new system of governance. And it's difficult. It's difficult. But what we want to know from the older generation is, okay, so there are components of this old system that we know we're going to have to transition into this new system, for some temporary balance until we can say, all right, none of that's beneficial no more, so we can discard it. So when it comes to the banking, when it comes to the construction industry, when it comes to because mind you, so many people in my generation are still holding on to, making money and getting rich and doing this individually, simply because they can't see any other way, right? They can't see any other way. We need some help on creating a system outside of this one to where we can still circulate money, because that's what we're so dependent on. I ain't naive. I know we're not going to throw away the concept of commerce no time soon. I know we're not going to do that, right? I know we're not going to do that. It's just, nobody born in the last 200 years, has even seen an alternative system to that. So, we're building that from scratch, still working out some kinks on paper, just as a concept, let alone putting it into practice, right? So what we're looking to the elders for is how do we set this new system up?
Okay, so I hear you loud and clear. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's deal with that, because let's deal with that question, and then we're gonna close out with Monique, and then I'm gonna come back and take this commercial break, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about these leadership skills, and also one of the other statements I made: what happens to Caucasians when racist Caucasians when they die? All right, that's on the second half here. But so right now, I understand. I've been with you with day one. I ain't never left your side other than I went on to work since. And I've watched you develop. Okay, I know you all don't have that capabilities right now, because you're going like, okay, how do we unplug from this machinery of white supremacy and start our own? So there are a few people in my generation that understands your dilemma, okay? And most of them are now joining. We are joining them, and they are joining us. So if you're listening to this show, you can start. Number one, your generation can give us the numbers. That's all we need from you right now. Mm-hmm. All we need you to do, we need you to go to our YouTube Straight Talk Morning Show, subscribe, because when we show more numbers, then we can broadcast through the YouTube live, as well as Facebook, and also next week we will have our own internet live stream, so you will have an option, because when you only broadcast from one stream that's controlled by white supremacy, you'll start having technical difficulties like we had on the other shows, either financial or technical difficulties, and they will, so we need multiple streams. So in order to get that next step, we need the numbers. We need you to either go to UPAALL.com, sign up, just say, I'm interested. I want some information. I need to talk to somebody. I need help. We got young people now in the generation after yours starting to commit suicide. We can talk those people down. We can give them a whole new hope, to move forward and understand the consequences of committing suicide. So that's where we are right now. Your generation is so caught up in the hamster wheel, and you don't have the equity in the political system because you all really just starting to say, well, maybe we should vote. Because most of the time, a lot of people in your generation, even that sister, the young Caucasian sister that I talked about, she wasn't like, I ain't vote.
Right.
And I get it because it's the definition of insanity. We've been voting over and over again, and we still, getting the same results.
Right.
So right now, however, we need young people from your generation that understand social networking, that have thousands of friends, to send information out how to work through our resource. And we are partnering with other groups, like-minded people, to make this change. That's the only thing we need from you right now, from your generation. From my generation, we need money. So if you got a pension plan and you can spare $20, $30, $40, $50, sign up and we have a program where the money can come out every month so that we can build this institution to help your children, your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. That's what we need from you. So all of you go to UPAALL.com and register. Go to YouTube, to the Straight Talk Morning Show. All those links are going to be showing on our Facebook page, or I'm going to have them on my personal Facebook page on how you can go and subscribe so that we can demonstrate those numbers. So that's really all you can do right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But let me finish up. Let me finish up with Monique. So what we're doing also, when I heard Monique's husband say the things, I said, this brother is awake, all right? And he's advising his wife. He loves her dearly. She loves him dearly. But he has advised her how to steer through this demonic entertainment business. And you've seen the results of this entertainment business. Look at Michael Jackson. Look at Prince. Look at all of these celebrities. And what Monique said about all these celebrities, that none of the black men in this organization have the backbone to stand up to it because we're still hooked on the white supremacy, as Steve Harvey said, money game. And her question was, what is the money game when there's no integrity? Mm-hmm. Huh? Yeah. There's no integrity in this money game. As long as white supremacy is controlling the narrative, we got to separate from that, people. You're not going to play the game and win. You're not going to out-slick it because it's designed to trick you into believing that you're winning when your people are dying. All right. Yeah. So I got to do this commercial break. And by the way, we're gonna reach out to Monique and her husband and other shows like that all over. If you have family members, friends that know other talk shows or people that's trying to work this thing out, we're not ego tripping like we got to be the only one. If they are intellectual enough to understand that we got to make a change and they're willing to make the sacrifice, we want to join forces with them. The black people, all the other people of color, and Caucasian people that gets it. Caucasian people know that white supremacy is a bad program that's destroying our Mother Earth. All right? Okay, so I got to do a commercial.
Do the commercial.
So one of the things that we do in order for us to stay on air, get more equipment, and so that we can bring the truth like it is, we have to bring on sponsors. And so one of our sponsors right now is Chris Asafa. She is the CEO of Blue Skies Insurance. And let me tell you about, Chris, I talk about her all the time. She is my agent. I shut down my other agent of another culture to pick this black woman because she is a very studious person. She understands the health insurance industry from A to Z. And so part of us separating from the negative end of white supremacy money game, we have to create our own currency. And the way we're going to do that is by patronizing, spending money, doing business with our people to encourage them. That gives them the power. That gives them the numbers to go and when we go and get these reparations, we're going to get it, but there's a certain format you have to have in place, and it has to be attached to the numbers. Numbers are very important. So December the 5th is the last day for enrollment with new plans. So if you don't have any insurance, or your parents got insurance, or your grandparents, and they're trying to wonder on what they should do, which insurance policy they should sign up with, call Chris with Blue Skies Insurance at 813-766-4474. Give Chris a call. She knows the game, she knows the business, and she's going to give you the right advice that you need to get your program, your health insurance program going. All right?
Yes, indeed.
All right. So, and as always, go to UPAALL.com, sign up, give us some information, and we also have a partition that we're going to be taking here on the local level, and we're going to be showing and demonstrating, sharing this technology with people in other cities and other states. Black people, you're being exterminated. The white supremacy program has already initiated the final 2 phases of exterminating you, because it cannot ever allow you to acquire economic parity, because that will exterminate white supremacy. All right? Take it, it's real, folks. All right. So, black leadership skills. All right. So let me, here's some things that I went online to look at, a format of leadership skills. All right, because we're recruiting new leaders, and some of the things that we need to add into our leadership. So I'm gonna go quickly through this list here. All right. So these are the goals that you should set to becoming a good leader. All right. First of all, you have to demonstrate personal responsibility, and my interpretation of personal responsibility is, this is a war. If you're gonna be leading people, you're leading people in a war. So you got to check yourself first. Your hygiene, how you look. How you're going to present yourself, just showing up to the meetings, showing up to find out, getting information, all right? Other one is practicing self-discipline. So right now, if you're in a war and you got a weakness, whether it's drugs, gambling, chasing women, or whatever, all of the different trappings of on the physical plane, you got to say to yourself, okay, playtime is up. This is war. I'm going to have to check these vices that I have, because pretty soon it'll be bad. It'll be really bad for you to die worthless, and not with money. I mean, worthless without accomplishing what your natural purpose is. You won't have good experiences. All right. So you have to discipline yourself, in terms of these weaknesses. Like me, I done cut out a whole lot of other stuff. And I know that I had to do that in order to stay sharp for this war. You got to develop active listening skills. All right, so one of the problems when we were organizing groups here in town, we had to go through 6 or 7 groups. That's why I'm saying to people in different parts of the country, call us up and we'll tell you what we went through in trying to organize different groups, because every one of them was infiltrated. White supremacy watched us the whole time, and they infiltrated black people with problems, with issues. And they want to talk all the time. They want, and I'm used to talking. But one of the most important things I learned to do, instead of saying, I know a lot. I've covered a lot in my 68 years on this planet. But I've learned to listen. Sometimes you just got to shut the hell up and listen to people, and have the respect and common decency to allow people to get off their mind how they see things. The way they see things may be valuable to this mission of survival. So learn to shut the hell up, okay, and listen. All right. One of the other ones is expand and diversify your knowledge. All right. So the slave master gave us one basic religion, and this allowed us to having access to other religions or other spiritual levels of consciousness. So we got to go read. There's an old biblical saying, and I say that sparingly, that you have to seek and you shall find. You got to go seek out some more information other than this limited information that we've received in these various limited religious structures that our slave master gave us. And one of the things that bother me, and this is going to tie into what happened to racist Caucasians when they die, but we got black people you can talk to tell you blue in the face, and they're not hearing this. But for those that are hearing this, you got to open up your mind and go and research and ask questions and ask yourself this main question: would your slave master give you tools to escape with if they depended on you being a slave? Can you? Now that's critical for your generation. I think your generation knows naturally.
What's that?
That will your slave master give you a tool? Will he give you a key to unlock your chains? Will he give you a horse and give you free reign to escape late at night? Or will he give you a formula that will help you free yourself when he's a parasite, or he or she is a parasite, and it's dependent on you staying there being stupid?
I'll definitely say this. My generation, we know a slave master when we see one. I can tell you that, whether we feel like we have a choice or not. You know what I'm saying? In order, to volunteer for slavery. Whether we feel like we got a choice or not, at least we know how to acknowledge. We're very good at that. At this point, we look at it, we say, okay, so we start to weigh in our options, and we say, all right, so I'm gonna volunteer to be a slave for like 20 weeks. We'll do something like that. But point is, yeah, we're very well aware. We can make the distinction. You see what I'm saying? We can easily make the distinction, which, looking at, prior generations, I've had some elders actually say this to me, and mind you, I'm, not throwing salt on the elders. I know plenty, great elders, but I've actually had some elders say to me, when it comes to this system, they would rather have, somebody lie to them, in order to hype them up to perform the slavery duties, versus somebody, disrupting or rocking the boat with the truth. Well, put it like this. I mean, the example was this. This was the example when I forget who it was that was running for office. I think it was Trump. As a matter of fact, I think it was Trump. They just said, at the time, like, he's telling too much truth right now. It's like he literally said, hey, just lie to me. Like, literally, I'm not exaggerating that. That's the words that came out of their mouth verbatim. He said, lie to me, make me believe this thing is, still intact. And I was a little thrown back by that, but like, I understand, the mindset, right? Yeah. Well,
so taking all that into consideration, and as we get, so this issue with finding new leaders. Also, here's one or two more things that before we go on, and I'm gonna talk about what happens to racist Caucasians. All right. So they say focus on time management. So your time is very valuable. When you're becoming a leader, you're gonna have to synchronize, set up a schedule. Here's another thing that I strongly suggest. I know this is old school, but I use a paper calendar, for my appointments. These phones are good. You can put your schedule in the phone, but for a visual and physical effect to manage your time when you're setting up on, just buy you one of them paper book calendars, and then every week at the beginning of that week, start writing down your goals, or appointments that you have concerning this movement, because this movement is critical. And you can write, some calendars have slots with time mechanism, time indicators on it. So every Monday, you do a glance through what you have to do, and then every day when you get up in the morning, you check your schedule. So these are critical things when you become an effective leader. What you need to do, improve your communication practices. So here's one of the things that I was slacking on. I need to read more. I stopped reading for a while because I got disappointed with a lot of the reading material. But it helps you. The more you read, it helps you to retain your vocabulary and your pronunciation of words.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I get on this show and I be messing up words, doing all kind of crazy things. And I hope people don't take that as a weakness, but I'm still going to keep coming. But it is good to keep improving that. So we have a selection of books. You can call our president, Brenda, at 813-324-0914. She works with a bookstore here, a black bookstore, and she got a selection of things for you to read to keep yourself up to date, and also in diversifying your knowledge. Other than just walking around with that King James Bible in you, saying this is the word, this is the only word. No, that it's not. There's some other knowledge out there that they forgot to put in the Bible. In some cases, they intentionally left it out of the Bible. So seek and find that information. All right. So one of the other things here, and also in terms of communications, this show that we're setting up, we want to open this show. We want to hear from other people. We want to bring you on this show. If you are in your community and things are going on, like these shootings, for example. I called some of my people, out in the Progress Village area last night to find out what's going on with these shootings. And so if you have some insight, also give Brenda a call. Sign up, go to our page and say, look, I'd like to report on what's going on in my community. Go to upaall.com, register, sign up, type, I want to bring information about what's going on in my community. I want to be a community captain so that I can get involved with this local, this statewide, and then this national agenda to save our people, save our children, our babies, our grandbabies, Mm-hmm. So that's what it's all about. And then here's the final one. Practice big picture thinking. Okay? So one of the problems I've had since I've been in my hometown, I brought a plethora of knowledge back to my hometown. And a lot of the local leaders, especially the brothers, oh no, I got to outdo you. You can't outdo me and all that. No, man, I'm not working on just Tampa. I'm not just working on Florida. I'm not just working on the United States. I'm working on a plan of an international plan. This whole planet was given to us by our advanced ancestors. It was given to us, and we lost it because of selfishness. So when you see me rolling, believe me, I'm not just. When I see little black babies suffering in different parts of the world, I'm feeling it, and I'm going like, we had the technology to stop that, but white supremacy won't let you do that because it will lose its footing, and so, that brings us to what happened to racist Caucasians. When they die. So.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Yeah. So check this out. All them little babies in Africa, all them little babies that their families trying to escape these countries because white supremacy created wars, start selling arms to both sides to keep wars, to keep different leaderships in power that's submissive to white supremacy. All of them babies that are suffering, when you die, if you're a white supremacist, whether you're Caucasian, black, Asian, or whatever the case might be, your soul is going to reincarnate in those babies. You're going to experience a hell on earth like you've never experienced it before. Out in the deserts, cold. We got children all over the world right now because of white supremacy that are suffering. Do you know who those babies are? The white supremacists. And that's the way the laws of karma work. You can sit there and say, "Oh no, reincarnation," and you can keep saying that if you want to, but the universe has a way of correcting itself. You will be corrected if you still think that white supremacy and this money game that Steve Harvey was trying to tell Monique, you got to play the money game, and Monique had to say to him, "But what about integrity?" All right. So if you want to keep playing that game, I promise you, the Most High will make the arrangements for you to come get all the way to the back of the line to have to suffer the trial and go through what this system has created for all of them babies. You will be one of those babies. That's a promise from the Most High. And I get this all the time. If you're confused about it, and I'm gonna tell you this. When I return home from Tampa and I'm trying to work with different leaders to get them to understand what we're doing, and they still talking crazy and madness, most of them were white supremacists in a previous life. And so the universe will bring them back, and you can talk to them until you're blue in the face, and they still can't hear what you're saying because the laws of karma block their ears. It'll block their eyes. They won't be able to see what you're saying, and it'll block their mind, and they won't have the ability to reason. So when you run up on those kind of people, all you got to do is say in your mind, don't get mad, don't angry with them. Just say, that was probably a white supremacist in the previous life, and they came back stupid like that. So just keep it moving. Go on to the next. And we're going to share that knowledge and information with you on when you're building your organization. If you are a potential leader, we're going to share that knowledge, how to overcome all those things. So go to upall.com or call our president, Brenda Allen, at 813-324-0915. I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, man. We got the hour mark. You want to close it on out?
No, well, okay. So we covered all of the topics. What I want to really encourage people is that it appears to me that Monique and her husband are sincere. All right, and let's get behind that sister. All right, let's get behind her. Because,
Let me chime in on that.
Let me talk to me.
Oh, okay. So here's one thing that I noticed about. Let me say it like this. Regarding that whole Monique situation with Netflix, and there was a recent situation, a very similar situation that happened with Dave Chappelle, and so basically, Dave Chappelle said, listen, I'm not even getting paid for my content that's being, played on Netflix. And he basically called for a boycott and a protest of watching his content, or basically just Netflix, period, because they were not paying him for his own content. And essentially, he got all the support that he needed. A lot of black folks did not support Netflix, or basically there was a certain level of boycotting that went on behind that. Monique, on the other hand, technically did the same thing. A lot of us know this story. A lot of you know this story a little bit better than I do. Y'all know the details behind what happened. And a lot of sisters in our community were like, wait a minute. How come Dave Chappelle got all the support when he called for a boycott of Netflix, but when Monique did it, a black woman, because here's the emphasis, it was that she was a black woman and she did not get the support of her community, especially from black men, right? Black men in the entertainment industry, and black men who basically watch entertainment. There was not enough support behind Monique and her call to say, hey, what they doing is it ain't right. So community, will you get behind me and support out my call for boycotting Netflix? And she ain't get the same support that Dave Chappelle got. Now, a lot of people want to bring up the fact that she got paid some money You know, like you say, she just did not want to continue to promote past her contract, right?
Right.
Right. I think the situation with Dave Chappelle was he just didn't get paid at all. Either way, the support behind Monique was not sufficient. So with that being said, you know, the limb that Monique has went out on in order to maintain integrity is admirable, right? It's admirable, and it's something that we do need to get behind. Me and Pops know all too well when you're talking about these particular subjects. It's you know, you have to be prepared to be ostracized from your own community to some extent. And what we're saying is, if you following us, if you are supporting us, Monique and her husband are putting out the same type of content. They have the same type of values and principles that we have. And if you can support us, then please support them, right? Right. So that's my take on it. That's what I want to say.
So you're absolutely right, and you know, it was, and the disheartening part that Monique felt, and I'm 90%, okay, because I know there's a 10% margin that other humans have hidden agendas behind their agenda, okay?
Yeah, right.
But right now, with Monique and her husband, I'm at 90%. But I'm gonna always leave that 10%, you know, that they're human and they can mess up. But
Yeah.
what she's proven to me, she and her husband, is that they're real. They want to be part of an agenda where, you know, we got black people getting our children prepared to go into that monster, that beast of the entertainment business.
Absolutely, and
You
that's
know,
what it is.
it's a demon. It's
is.
a beast. It's not fair. It wants your soul. It wants to eat your children.
Yeah.
We can create our own entertainment business that's based on integrity.
Yeah.
All right?
That like you say, that 10%, if there's an inkling of some, you know, personal motive behind Monique and her husband, it's like, listen, weigh that against, you know, the system that you've been operating in all this time. It's like, if you can get up every day and support this system so willingly, and it is 100% against you, then you can overlook that 10% of personal interest that Monique, you see what I put in her husband potentially have. It's like, in other words, you can accept your own family, your black family, with their little 10% of flaws.
Absolutely.
You can do that.
Yeah, because we've been accepting the mother
we accept their whole 100%.
Yeah, and
every day.
Sending our children off, man. Nah.
So with that being said, you know, that's nowhere near enough to ostracize and show a lack of support to our family like that.
Oh, I have a giveaway.
Oh, you got some prizes?
I got one prize. Okay.
Singular.
Yeah, just one prize, because, you know, we still try, you know, but we want to encourage people to participate.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so it's me and my son, but I'm gonna take the lead on this one because I've been around longer than he has in this lifetime. I don't know about the previous lifetime. So there's a common denominator with me, with Monique's husband, Sidney Hicks, and Brian Gumble. Now, I'm gonna give you a hint on one of the common denominators. We all three of us believe that extraterrestrials have been here since the beginning of time, and I have written a book on it, and that book is going to be coming up real soon. You'll be able to get a copy. I've written a book on it. I've done many shows on it. What I've heard from Sidney Hicks is a total dedication to waking our people up to a broader consciousness that there's something greater out there in the universe than what these European white supremacy has been selling us. This really sick bill of goods. Brian Gumble, okay, he did a story on extraterrestrials. I think it was somewhere up in Pennsylvania. He did about a crash that happened a while back. And after he did that story, he was ostracized from the media game because the media game is a part of white supremacy, and it does not want black people to know that we have extraterrestrials that are more advanced than the ones that sold the Europeans the white supremacy program. All right? So there is a common denominator. So if you know what that common denominator is, it's a similar, not exact, but it's a very similar common denominator. If you can find out what it is, go to UPAALL.com, post it. First come, first serve, and you get a $25 gift card. Hopefully, we get more participation. We can get more money. I would like to give you a $100 gift card, but my budget says right now $25. So go to UPAALL.com and post what that common denominator of these 3 black men and my son, but right now I'm going to use the common denominator that I have. Go to UPAALL.com and explain what that common denominator is, and you get a $25 gift card. You have to give us information on how to contact you so that we can send you that bonus.
All right.
On that?
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to blow your mind. So, hey, man, this has been the Straight Talk Morning Show.
Yes,
don't forget, go to our YouTube link and subscribe, because in order for us to broadcast on 2 or 3 different streams and medium, we need you to subscribe and support us.
Absolutely. What we need is 1,000 followers on YouTube. What I did is I put the link to our YouTube page in the comment section. Please go down there and just like and subscribe real quick, fam. Real easy. You know how it goes. It's like 2 clicks. So do that for us, please.
Oh yeah, one other announcement. We have a community captains event coming up. It was scheduled for the 5th. It's going to be changed to December the 12th at Al's Finger Licking Soul Food. So if you are interested in being a community captain, again, go to UPAALL.com or call Brenda at our 813-324-0915. And let her know that you want to be involved, that you want to give some information on what's going on in your community. If you're being subjected to code inspections and violations, if you're being subjected to gentrification, mortgage foreclosure, sign up with us. We're going to find the answers. We're going to bring the resources. We need the numbers. Hey, this has been the Straight Talk Morning Show, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening.
Indeed, pal.